It's the Polo Podcast. Hello, everybody. Andrew here, Polo Reef, back with another podcast. This time featuring Danny Z.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that last name?
Zeebrechts.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not repeating that.
I call him Danny Z. Danny, give us a little about you, how old you are, how long you've been in the hobby.
Yeah, so I'm Danny Zeebrechts. I'm from the Netherlands, 21 years old. I've been keeping aquariums since I was maybe 12, 13 years old. I started off with a freshwater setup, like most aquarium hobbyists. Had some guppy fish in there, a betta fish, and even some puffer fish all in one tank. So not the best combo. Yeah. Then I started working at a fish store, just cleaning the aquariums and doing maintenance on them. And I set up more freshwater aquariums. And then I got interested into saltwater aquariums and I set up a 10-gallon nano reef tank. And then the same thing happened, which happened with the freshwater tanks. I wanted more. It's very addictive. And now I have 5 saltwater setups and no freshwater setups anymore. And I started documenting it all on YouTube from the very beginning, so freshwater.
Oh, wow. So how long ago? When would you say was your first YouTube video?
So I set up my channel in October 2015, and I think I started posting on there shortly after. So 2015, yeah. 8 years already. And then I started my first saltwater aquarium 4 years ago.
How did you started it with a 10-gallon? What did you had there?
Yeah, I had an all-in-one setup from Innovative Marine. It's just the Nuvo 10. I set it up with a lot of soft corals mostly because I was new into the hobby. So SPS wouldn't work out, I think. Had fun with it, but it crashed during the summer because I sleep in the attic. And we didn't have air conditioning yet, so the tank overheated when I was on holiday. And I got back, and the water was cloudy. And yeah.
What's happened to your views from freshwater to saltwater, given the saltwater thing is smaller?
Yeah, actually, when I was posting freshwater content, I didn't really grow on YouTube, on Instagram. But during the COVID pandemic, when I started with my saltwater aquariums, things really took off. I went for an approach without showing my face on camera, without doing voiceovers, but just some classical music, piano music. And people really seemed to like it.
I remember that. Yeah.
How many, what do we got now? How many subscribers?
On YouTube, 131,000.
31,000.
Wow.
I reached 100,000 in March this year.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Great.
Yeah.
That's a big achievement.
That's a big milestone.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, 131,000 on YouTube is pretty big.
Yeah. What about Instagram? How are you doing with Instagram?
95,000. Almost
You're
to
almost
100.
there.
Yeah, almost
You're
there.
Almost there. That is great.
Yeah.
Did you started Instagram after YouTube, or was it first? Which one was first?
I'm not too sure, but I think YouTube was the first one I started. Yeah.
Then how do you make that change from YouTube to Instagram? What do you think was like that transition?
Well, YouTube is more for long form content. They now have shorts, but they didn't have it back then. And Instagram, you can just take a picture, post it with a short caption, and that's it. It was probably easier to use, faster to get content out, share my experiences with my aquarium. That's probably what got me into Instagram and TikTok later on.
Oh, yes. And what would you suggest someone that, let's say, starting out, they might have Instagram or TikTok and they want to branch out to like YouTube? Is there anything that you will suggest someone that wants to take that leap?
Yeah, probably start out with short form content because right now it's the easiest way to grow your following online. Some short form content, you can just film it with your phone. I recently switched from a professional camera to my phone again because it's just easier to work with. And the camera quality is great.
How long would you say it takes you to do, let's just say, a YouTube video from like the start to putting it out there?
Sometimes when I like to do things very last minute. So when I want to post a video on Sunday, I'll probably start filming it and writing a script on Saturday. And then I film it during the night, edit it, and then in the morning it's ready. YOLO. So maybe 6-7 hours from start to finish.
Wow, that is
YouTube
great.
video.
That is a good turnaround.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
all
like to do things
right.
fast.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you come up with the ideas of what you're gonna do? I
Basically,
mean, you have a lot of new tanks, so
Yeah.
that's easier, right?
yeah. So basically, I just look at my aquarium and I'm like, well, I need to do maintenance. So I could do a maintenance video right now. I don't really watch trends or anything like that.
Now let's talk about the aquariums for a 2nd. Tell everybody what's so unique about yours. No filters.
No, correct. No filters, no skimmers,
Yes.
no sumps. They're very easy. I started off with just a glass tank, put lighting on there, heater inside, power head, and then a dosing pump for calcium, magnesium, and alkalinity. And that's it. Fill it up with water, sand, rocks, corals, and some fish. I can keep my tanks this way because I mostly keep soft corals and some LPS corals. I do also have a few Montipora species and Acropora species in there, but my main focus is really the somewhat easier corals. And I don't keep a lot of fish in them, so nutrients are always pretty low, which helps, of course, if you don't have
A low bio load
filters. Yeah.
definitely helps. Yeah. So how often do you do water changes on these tanks?
Yeah, so before I used to do a water change every weekend, but I noticed, well, I was having some trouble with some corals. They were bleaching a little bit, and I don't like testing my water because I don't like chasing the numbers as much. I just like to observe my corals. And if I see that maybe they're closed up or they lose color, I know something is wrong. So I'll test, and it turned out I wasn't having enough nitrates and phosphates. The tanks were too clean. So then I switched from a water change once a week to one every 2 weeks. And now I'm down to one every 3 weeks. And I take out, for my 40 gallon, I take out about 2 to 3 gallons of water.
That's it.
That's it. And while I take out the water, I gravel vacuum the sand because I like to keep it nice, clean.
Yeah. So how long do you think it will take you to do all the water changes? Do you do all at once?
Yeah, I usually it takes me maybe 2 hours if I'm not filming. If I film, it will take much longer because you need to get all the angles. But if I'm just not filming it, maybe 2 hours to clean the glass, do water change, everything.
So what would you say is the next thing for you?
Yes, so I have this new setup that I'm building right now. So I really want to focus on that. I want to try something different. And I also want to make some changes to my 3 existing reef tanks because I'm not really happy with the way they look. The one on the left side is a mostly soft coral focused aquarium, but I'm also growing a bit of Aptasia in there to make some educational videos about them. And then I want to put in some more soft corals. I want to transform the middle tank a little bit because I put in Palitoas and Xenia in the beginning, and now it's growing everywhere. And I want a little bit more color in there. And I kind of want to try an SPS only tank and see if that's possible in the right tank. So, and then I have soft coral mixed SPS. And then on the opposite side, in the new tank, I want to try something with maybe some macroalgae and some wider light. I saw one at a convention, a tank like that. It had all sorts of small critters in there. I think that's really fun. Really focus on the macro life in there.
Yeah, I think that's what we're thinking, right? Andrew, Apollo, we're thinking about maybe doing a macro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a Facebook presence too?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. You make any money doing this as a 20-some-odd-year-old? Or
Yeah,
is
I
this
now
a
do
really
social
hobby?
No, I do social media full time now.
Yep.
And that's only possible because Fritz Aquatics is my sponsor, Aquashellas, and all that combined is enough. And I only make money with YouTube ads.
Right.
Not with Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok.
Right. Just Instagram.
Yeah. But I need money, of course, to maintain the aquariums and live, but it's not really my focus. I just want to show people that you can keep reef tanks without spending thousands of dollars on all sorts of equipment. Because I noticed when working in the fish store that a lot of people are hesitant to start with saltwater aquariums because they think it's a lot of work and you need a ton of equipment to maintain it. And of course, some setups require that, like yours. But I think I've proven that it's also possible with little to no filtration and equipment.
I know this is like the $1 million question that everybody asks. When you're started already, you have built enough of a following and you're starting to kind of, build a name to yourself. What would you suggest people that are trying to get brands to be, brands to kind of see their content, work with brands? What would be your main suggestion for people that want to do kind of what you did?
Yeah, just look at what other creators are doing a little bit and see what works, and maybe just go from there. But don't copy people. That's something that's not cool. And eventually you'll probably get noticed by brands and other people as you grow. You can just grow organically, and just like me, brands start reaching out, and you go from there.
What would you also give a suggestion to others, especially let's say brands are starting reaching out? You already have the following, brands are starting to reach out. Then what do you think will be the next step?
Well, you got to be honest with the products and with the brand you're working with, of course. So every product that I promote, I fully stand behind. I test it out before I bring it to the public to make sure it really works as it's supposed to work. And yeah, just being honest. Really.
Do you get a piece of those sales, or do you
No.
they just give you equipment and
Yeah, I
salt
get
and
all
stuff?
sorts of...
There's no cash that trades hands.
No, I can just test out all sorts of products from them. And it allows me to come here to Aquashella and do other fun
That is
stuff.
great. So you have Fritz is one of your sponsors,
Yes,
right?
correct.
That's your main sponsor.
Yeah, they flew me out to Aquashella.
That's great. So what do you do now that you're here at Coachella as kind of like a brand ambassador, I would think?
Yeah, so today and tomorrow I'm doing a few live streams on the new Fish Stream app. And we're just connecting with a lot of people, new hobbyists, talk to some people, share experiences, thoughts, just have a lot of fun. That's what it's all about in the end.
And do you create content while you're here for your channel as well, let's say for Fritz or for anything, or is just more like a meet and greet?
Yeah, I try to create a lot of short form content mostly. I don't think a long form video will do well because there are already a lot of people trying to do that.
Right.
So just some short form stuff. I've seen a lot of cool animals over there that I want to show to the people that aren't able to come here this time. I've seen weird turtles and weird fish, everything. They even have some cats I saw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Then so we
On
need
an
to
aquarium event.
walk around. We haven't seen it
Yeah.
all then. Yeah.
So do you miss fresh water at all?
Sometimes.
Like what? What part of it?
Mostly nanofish. I really like the small nanofish, colorful nanofish, shrimp, a lot of different colorations on them. Yeah, aquascapes are pretty cool.
The planted
Yeah.
aquascapes, right?
And I would like more tanks, but I don't have space for it.
Right.
My bedroom is full. I already got rid of my desk for
Oh,
the
wow.
new tank. So I just have aquariums, a bed, and a bedside table where the P&W tank is, and that's it.
Would you consider changing one of your currently saltwater tanks kind of back to freshwater?
Yeah, so I was thinking of that, of maybe taking out the two 20 gallons and putting a 40 gallon back in. So I have a 40 gallon here, 40 gallon here. And I wanted to turn one in a freshwater tank, but I didn't end up doing that. I'm not sure why. Maybe because a lot of people recognize me from the 3 tanks behind the black wall. That's what I've heard. And the
And the
roof.
little
Yeah.
yes, the roof that
Yes.
looks like a triangle.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
It's very noticeable.
I remember when you started out, and I remember the classical music. We will see your hands, and you will have like the fish, and you will be cleaning the tank, and then
Yep.
adding the conditioner or like
Or
and then you will
amino acids and
yes,
such,
and
yeah.
then you will put the fish in, and that's pretty much how you started. Very simple.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to kind of share with people, that you don't have to have a whole production or
No.
a whole. You can just start very simple and just share, your day to day.
Yeah, I did everything from my phone, and I'm trying to get back into that. I bought a fancy camera and microphones and such, but it's not really my thing. I like to keep it really simple.
Now, do you travel to other tanks and do videos on other people's systems?
Yeah, this year I started doing that. I changed up my content a little bit because I wanted to try something new. So this year I went to Denmark to film some aquariums. I visited the National Aquarium of Denmark and a very big private reef tank. Not as big as yours, but I think it's 33,000 liters or something. From Daniel Fossum.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, Dan. Yeah.
And later that same month I went to Aquashella Dallas. I visited some tanks. We set up some tanks for Fritz Aquatics YouTube channel. And last month I went to France to film a fish store and some tanks. So just traveling a bit. Maybe 1.5 years, 2 years ago, I started featuring some other tanks on my channel, but they were just from local hobbyists. And people really seem to like that. Different setups, some high-tech setups, low-tech setups, everything.
That's great. Yeah, a good variety, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just so people don't see the same thing over and over
Yeah,
again,
because
right?
after a while, the classical music for me, it was kind of boring and I didn't really like creating it anymore. So then I thought it was time to switch things up a bit. And that worked.
Could try some 70s and 80s rock.
Yeah,
There
I
you
could
go.
try it, yeah.
Yes, you can go the Polo Reef
Yeah.
route.
Did you go to have you gone to London to see
David Saxby?
Yeah,
Yes.
have you been there?
No, not yet. I really want to
something
go
on
there.
the list?
That's something that I really
Right.
Yeah.
Which one will be other ones that you will want to see that will be on that list?
Probably some aquariums in Dubai. They have some very big, probably the one in the mall, the very big one. That's one I want to visit. And I've heard that there are a lot of cool things in Japan. And Australia, of course, the Great Barrier Reef.
Yes.
One day I'll visit, yeah.
That is great. So we're here at Coachella, we're doing this. What would you be the main thing that you would like to film and how would you do it? Because like you just said before, there's a lot of people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So how would you kind of do something different?
Yeah, so I really want to showcase those sensational animals. I'm not sure if it's the right word, but something like that just looks really weird, out of this world. I want to showcase that. So I've seen another guy showed me a turtle he bought, and it looked like a big leaf or something. It looks very weird. So I like to show that to the people.
And because if you think the turtle is not really salt water and you're so much like your following is a lot of salt water. So you're right now kind of branching out to different other.
Yeah, but it's also my following is still very mixed because I started off with freshwater, of course.
Yes. So you still have the freshwater following.
Yeah. And some of my most viral content is freshwater. So I imagine that a lot of people do still keep freshwater tanks that are following me. I did a poll and it surprised me because a lot of people, 25-30%, don't even have an aquarium, they said. So they
that are following you.
Yeah,
No
so they
aquarium.
just follow me because they think it's interesting. And I hope one day they'll step into the hobby. That would be really cool.
I wonder if if you put a planted discus tank or something with some neon tetras, and you did that versus the reef. I think the views go up on the freshwater side like 5x.
Yeah, so I would have loved to try that, but
Two small tanks.
well, my room isn't that big. It looks
Right, and you need
it
filters
looked-
for those discus.
Exactly.
Or doing water changes like daily.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
you have the bed.
You have your bed.
You have the bed. So
Yeah,
hey, you
but
can
we
put
have
it.
wooden floors, so I can't put too big of a
Oh.
tanks on there.
Yeah.
Why are you on the second level or third level?
Yeah, in the attic.
Oh,
You're
at
the
the attic.
attic.
Yeah,
All the way at the top.
all the way in the top. Wooden floor, so a big discus tank probably won't be a good idea.
What about downstairs? Who lives down there?
My parents, my brother,
Oh,
and I don't think my mom will appreciate a big tank in
no,
the living room. No.
Got it.
I had a small nano freshwater tank in the living room once, and then a small nano reef tank, but it's too bright, too many daylight, so algae problems. So I took it down. But a big tank is definitely a no-go.
It's very good to see, all the progress you have made. You're such a young, gentleman. You got, a whole life ahead of you to do all of these. So where do you see yourself, let's say, in 5 years?
Hopefully with an even bigger following. I hope to inspire more people to get into the hobby, both freshwater, saltwater. 5 years is a long time from now. If you go back five years, I didn't have that big of a following, so a lot can happen. I would have never
Definitely.
guessed I would be here today 5 years ago.
neither.
Yes. Me neither. Me neither. Yes.
But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
What is your goal for what you do for a living? What are you going to do for a living? Can the YouTube
Yeah,
will that support it? If you doubled your subscribers,
Oh,
again,
yeah,
that
probably.
would do it.
Yeah, I think that will do it, and that's really my plan.
And then once that happens, you can move out of mom and dad's
Yeah,
attic place, right?
one day, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah,
And so in 5 years, you could be living somewhere different.
and then I can
With a
have
big
big tanks.
discus tank.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, that's right.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
There you go. Yes. Tanks everywhere.
Yeah.
My other question, my final question will be, when are you coming to Polo Reef?
Hopefully soon.
I hope we see you
Definitely.
there soon
Yeah.
for sure. Maybe you can bring one of those nano tanks and we can have a little tank there.
Yeah, a miniature version of the 17,000
There
gallon.
you go.
We've had Sea Friendly. We've had some European guys over.
Yeah.
They've done good jobs.
Yeah, I've seen his videos. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is great. So yeah, I hope we see you pretty soon at Polo Reef.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Always invited. By the way, just one last question. Where did you get your editing and photography skills to begin with? Is that
Great
something that
question.
was self-taught, or
Yeah,
did
mostly,
you take
yeah.
classes for that?
No, all self-taught.
All self-taught.
I don't know a lot about Photoshop and Premiere Pro, only the basics.
Is that right? And
Yeah.
you taught it to yourself?
Yeah, I
how,
taught-
how to work those stuff.
Yeah.
Me too, by the way.
It's just all learning.
It wasn't easy at 57.
No, it wasn't easy for me, so I can't imagine what you had to go through.
I know.
Going off with that question, somebody starting out, what would you suggest them to start with?
Starting off with social media.
Yes.
Yeah, just see what you enjoy making and just do that. Don't do something that you don't enjoy because you'll get burned out for sure.
One of the main questions that we get asked, especially with social media, is that I feel people get very caught up with, oh, we need the big camera, we need the big lights, we need all of these.
And I need to be consistent
Exactly. And sometimes I think, and especially some videos that go viral, sometimes we think it's like, but why or how? And sometimes it's just the day-to-day things, just capturing what's going on, what happened, or making a big deal, right?
Yeah, the thing is, if you're doing something that you aren't really enjoying, like, oh, I need to post this, oh, I need to do this, those things usually don't work out because you're not really putting in the creativity that you have inside of you. So you really need to focus on the things that you actually enjoy. And it doesn't matter if you skip a week of content or 2 weeks. This year I've skipped 2 months at one time.
Yeah, we skipped,
without
the,
new
whole, we
content.
skipped
Yeah.
the whole summer.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
No, actually, I mean, the YouTube stopped growing, but
But we're back.
we collectively got a break. And
That's better than
right,
creating
right,
content that
right,
you aren't
right.
really enjoying making.
Right.
So you don't really have like a schedule. You don't really, do you prepare? Do you say, okay, next month I want to at least do this or that? Or
I always write something up like that, but then I'm like, no, I'm not really feeling like doing that. So.
What would be the biggest thing that happened? Like, what would happen if you put an aqua clear filter on top of in one of your tanks? Would that be a big deal? Like a little filter?
Yeah, that would be a very big deal because I recently changed all my equipment
Yeah.
and people were already getting mad, like, oh, it's no longer low tech. But nothing changed, just the brand changed.
Right.
It's still the
Still
same.
low tech.
Yeah, still low tech. So no, if I put a
You're not
filter
putting
on
a
that,
filter
no,
on.
no.
No filters going
No.
on.
But will that actually keep you from doing something that you want just to kind of be like appease the following, make sure that your following is happy? Would
No,
you think that that's
Not
stopping
really.
you from?
I'm not really into tech and fancy equipment myself, so
So you're
like-
true to your heart.
yeah, I like to keep it very simple.
Yes. That is great. Yeah. That's
21
awesome.
and simple.
Yeah, very
Yes,
simple.
21 and simple. That is, you have made yourself really, again, I remember from the beginning, and now look at you. And now you're so young. You have a whole life ahead of you,
Thank you so
ahead
much,
of you. So we're definitely very happy to see all of the progress, and especially with COVID, everything kind of blew up
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
So after the whole pandemic thing, it's definitely a lot of people drop, and then the people that have been consistent, like you, we have seen so much growth too.
Yeah.
You entered our international Tank of the Month contest.
Yeah.
How you doing? Have you counted? What's happening on that?
I think I got a lot of likes, but I don't think I'm the number one most liked comment on
All
there.
right.
Oh,
We gotta count.
we gotta
that.
check.
Yeah.
Yes, and don't forget to join our Tank of the Month. It's
Yeah.
in our Facebook group.
There are some very cool things in there.
Yeah,
Yes.
there are some beautiful tanks, and the group is really knowledgeable. I mean, you can just put a name and they show up
Yeah.
with a comment.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Great seeing you here.
Yeah, thank you
in
so much for
USA
having me. Yeah.
finally, and not on a
Welcome to
Zoom.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
And enjoy Aqua Show.
Yeah, you guys.
Yes.
You guys, I appreciate the opportunity to make this video. And if you like this video and this podcast, and we're going to be doing more with more guests, like, subscribe, the ding, click, put a number on our YouTube. We'll see you next week.
It's the